Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to the official Mario Kart Wii Limitless Vehicle Tournament. In this series, we have drafted 16 of Limitless's most potent vehicles, and we'll pit them against one another to see which one will be crowned the winner. The format is double elimination, and we are currently in the first round with our first vehicle matchup. Without further ado, let us welcome the defender, the Wario Bike! Fans of the WarioWare series will be very well acquainted with Wario's trusty ride, and Limitless players have been getting very used to this thing's presence as of late. With high speed and a monstrous weight stat, this bad boy has enough juice to cruise to the front of the pack and prevent any opponents from challenging it, without assistance from items or track layout, thereby earning it the #1 seed in this season's vehicle tournament. While the rest of its attributes aren't anything worth mentioning, they're surprisingly well-rounded, which gives the Wario Bike no particular weakness to abuse. Its mini-turbo is low, but just enough to help it stay in the brawl. Its acceleration and cornering are mediocre, but they will suffice in the vortex and prevent it from struggling on too many tight spaces. We've talked about the Wario Bike's potential, so now let's get a quick overview of the team that will terrorize the track. This is Police! That he is. This is Police is indeed the Police, otherwise known as simply Police, or by his famous in-game tag of Uwu Nya. Police has a fair share of outside drifting expertise under his belt, making him a worthwhile weapon for the Wario Bike warheads, despite his relative lack of Wario Bike usage in Limitless historically. Definitely a major threat to look out for in this matchup with his skills and adaptability, no question. Gaberboo! Definitely in the running for the title of most seasoned ODB player in Limitless, it should come as no shock that coding mastermind Gaberboo is repping the Wario Bike, incidentally maining the vehicle in V5 and being a force to be reckoned with in both LTRC and in Worldwides. Gabe's mastery of the vehicle and his expertise representing the outside drift underdogs no doubt puts a giant target on his back, but one that his opponents will have a nightmare trying to hit without being taken down with him. Tails 8. Limitless de facto wildcard is none other than Tails, who has quite the peculiar history of going out of his way to pick up the most oddball playstyles in an attempt to make them work. In recent times, he's gone ahead and added the Wario Bike to his repertoire of wacky racers, making his inclusion into the Wario Bike team a no-brainer. With Tails himself being a rising star in the Limitless scene, he can provide a solid stopgap for opponents to have to deal with. Super 5125. The enigmatic Super 5125, also known by his Mii name of Caleb, is a newcomer to the mod who got drafted into the war as part of his integration process into the Limitless cult. Okay, not really, he's just a new player who decided to give the event a go, respect where respect is due. With a high weight stat coupled with his mannerisms and tactics being completely unknown, he can very well prove to be an asset in the Wario Bike team's gatekeeping game plan. With our defender having been introduced, it's time we do the same for the challenger. Give it up for the Quacker! For non-Limitless players, the Quacker is nothing more than a quaint, silly inside drifting bike that mid-level players play in Worldwides occasionally for shits and giggles. For Limitless players, the Quacker is simply him, a symbol of fear and dread, spanning all the way back to the inaugural public patch of Limitless, where it ruled the metagame with an iron claw, its overwhelming power, versatility and ease of use making him synonymous with suffering and cheese. Quacker's glory days, or rather gory days, have long since passed, though it's been in a bit of a comeback in recent patches, apparently being considered just powerful enough to make it into this bracket, albeit as a wildcard pick. Quacker is one of the most min-maxed vehicles in the mod, possessing incredibly long mini-turbos and excellent drift and acceleration, yet suffering from abysmal weight and a base speed that is straight up non-viable. Pairing this featherweight against such a force of nature sounds like a cruel joke, yet perhaps the Quacker's striking agility can reverse the odds. Let's meet the flock! The Super Artist Gamer. The Super Artist Gamer, or Ross as he is simply known, needs no introduction. Whether it's because he's the creator of the mod or because nobody cares, you can decide for yourselves. Ross is without a doubt one of the bigger turbo vehicle enthusiasts Limitless has to offer, meaning the Sugar Scoot, and having very high shooting star and day tripper usage in various different patches, the Quacker would surely fit his skill set to a T. Ryumi! One of the main advocates behind Quacker's reign of terror back in V1, as well as the source of the whole him meme, it should come as no surprise that Ryumi is a part of Team Duck in this matchup, given his previous mastery and begrudging experience. One of Limitless' most skilled vanilla players, the inside drifting bike knowledge certainly carries over and will no doubt give him the tools to carry the team to victory, assuming things go as planned. Better have those blue shells on speed dial, for the Dutch Duck will not be quacking around. BB! BB is another player with an affinity for vehicles with their mini turbo stats on the higher end, best showcased with his exemplary showings with Super Blooper and Classic Dragster in previous Limitless seasons, so him being on Team Quacker is another relatively fitting inclusion. The trademark BB back bombs will no doubt give Team Quacker a strong supportive backbone, one that the Quacker's agility will surely allow BB to make very good use of. Lucio wins! Lucio is quite possibly the most versatile Limitless player of all. With adequate usage and experience with just about every vehicle in the mod's history, Lucio's affinity for experimentation makes him both a convenient filler for the team lineup and a strong glue to fill in the gaps the other three players leave with their skill sets. Lucio's clan war knowledge and incredibly quick thinking will make him a valuable asset no matter the circumstance. With the matchups determined and the teams drafted, let's get into the war! Who will win? Let's find out.
Alright, so post-commentary. Never done one of these before, but we were actually in call during this, so I couldn't record that because we were too invested, but I decided I would do a sort of post-commentary track to sort of commentate on the happenings that are going on in the video as they're playing. We're currently on our first track here, which is GCN Waluigi Stadium, and this was actually one of our tracks. I don't think we wanted to pick this track, but we just kind of went with it. I think we were sort of looking for tracks to pick, and I think somebody just picked it up, and you can see I just got lagged by a fib there, but yeah, so we're not off to a great start. We're currently, I think we're bottom 3 it looks like, and the Wario Bikes are sort of near the front spots. We've got, I think, Ryumi actually running in 1, and as you can see, BB is behind me. He just activated a Mega in last place, as you do. So yeah, I've got a golden, not really much to do with it, so I just kind of try and do a cut here, try and catch up. For some weird reason, my Elgato was playing up a lot, so you will see occasional stutters. I don't think there's as many stutters as the video goes on, but you can definitely see some like noticeable jump cuts, which isn't editing, it is just a stutter in the recording capture. I don't know why it does this. Gabe just got owned. So I'm in 3rd, pretty favourable spot, but Police is behind me, so I give him a little bit of respect because he's on the weight vehicle. I pull a blue, immediately lose it because of the POW, so Ryumi has no blue insurance. But I pull a Mega. We see Lucio behind me with Star, so BB primes the shock to try and dodge us. I think he just misses, but it's okay because Lucio immediately pulls a Mega afterwards to take cut. So we're actually in top 3 now because I pulled the blue again and I kill Teals, who's on the enemy team. And yeah, we're just kind of comfortably in top 3, but some Wario Bikes are hot on our tail. There's a vicious POW. I do a little maneuver, and I think it's just barely enough to eke first place, and yeah, we secured first. I had a red, I wanted to back it to hit because there were 3 Wario Bikes, but there was also a Quacker, and in the moment I couldn't really tell who was where, so I just decided to play it safe and not cost our team any more spots. We actually, even though I won the race, we actually did lose by 2 points, but it was still a very close race. We actually played that very well. I wouldn't say Waluigi Stadium is a favourable Quacker track by any sense of the imagination. Going from not a favourable Quacker track to I would say a pretty solidly favourable Quacker track, N64 Bowser's Castle. And this was our pick again, I believe. That we deliberately picked this track this time. And yeah, your eyes aren't deceiving you. Lucio is on the jet setter. So funny thing, he like accidentally picked the randomized combo option, because the thing about Lucio in Limitless, he's a random min. So like, now that Pulsar has a randomized combo option, he has grown very acquainted to it. So yeah, that's a bit rough. It's also a bit rough going into this race. Like, the Wario Bikes are top 2, and another one is pretty hot on my ass here. I go for rail cut, but unfortunately I skill shoot a little bit, so I'm just off the track. Thankfully it's lap 1, nothing really matters. It is mildly unfortunate that they are top 3. I think, is that Lucio on the minimap that's right behind them, I think? So yeah, we're down, but we're not out. Actually, no, Lucio's in last. Who am I kidding? We're down, but we're not out, because this is a very good track for vehicles with high mini-turbo stats. Quacker, I would say, is maybe the best vehicle for this track. I'm pretty sure it's better than... I think it might... Mach Bike may be better, but it's definitely better than, like, Sugar Scoot and Shooting Star, for sure. And karts, obviously, don't even enter the equation. I've got a POW, have no clue where to use it, so I figure to chain, because we were on call and nobody had any power items. Lucio has the bullet, that's great. I hit a wall to make sure he doesn't accidentally kill me. Nearly hit that banana, I might switch my brain off a little bit there. Yeah. Gabe on the enemy team, he's running away, but Ryumi's hot on his heels. Looking pretty favorable. BB tries to murder police, but he accidentally gets... he accidentally kills me in the process. I think something happened to Ryumi, so I find myself in second with a Mega, which is a pretty favorable spot to be in, though we probably won't gain any spots just because of the sheer lead that Gabe has. And I believe BB pulls shock at this point? So I just activate my Mega and he dodges me and he gets away with not TSing Ryumi. Teal's dodged, which is mildly unfortunate. We didn't get 2-3, but we have 2-4 in the bag, I believe. Yeah, 2-4. 2-4-5. Which is a very solid result, all things considered. It could have been better, since N64 Bowser's Castle is a track that nominally favors Quacker, but we'll take what we can get. That race was very much a struggle indeed. Also, because we sort of sorted out a rule in call that since Lucio wasn't on the correct vehicle, he takes last by default, which is why he sort of slowed down at the finish line there at the last second. If you were paying attention to the minimap, that is. If you weren't, it doesn't really matter. So, GCN Yoshi Circuit, another very favourable Quacker track, and naturally we were the ones to be picking this. Obviously Ryumi is just gone. All of the V1 flashbacks of Quacker domination, it's coming back in full force in this track right here. So we've got a very strong top 2 at the minute. I place a banana there to see if it can catch anyone off guard. Keep that banana in the back of your mind. But yeah, Ryumi backs. Doesn't hit anyone, but he did call it out, so I was in no risk of hitting it. He places a banana tie, I place a fib as well. Does it hit anyone? I don't remember if it hits anyone. Lucio took the cut, so we're actually top 4 right now, which is exactly where we want to be, and oh yeah, my fib hit the guy in last, that's cool. So yeah, we're top 4 at the minute. Ryumi took a blue, but he had such a lead that it didn't really matter. And BB is in 4th, he's just kind of in the terrorism position, he's just sort of gatekeeping the Wario Bikes, which is a very strong play from BB. I think we do need... In wars especially, if your team is in really high spots, you do kind of want to dedicate someone to just murdering the universe so that no one can take an advantage. I throw my banana forward because I see BB taking the cut. I accidentally hit a banana and that green was a misinput. I actually meant to fire it backwards, but thankfully it didn't murder any of my teammates. Triple Shrooms in 5th, only police to worry about. I'm in a very favourable spot right now, so we could potentially get top 3. Unfortunately, this happens. Fucking police is in the off-road, but he's apparently just right in front of me, so Weenfi just decided I get hit by a stray red. Super unfortunate, and I get random greened here, so... The top 3 didn't come to fruition, but we got top 2, and I believe BB gets 4th here. Yeah, BB gets 4th. We forgot to enable teams this GP, so it is a bit awkward to tell on results, but I remembered to switch them on GPs 2 and 3, so it'll become much easier to tell. But yeah, 1, 2, 4, 6, extremely good result for us. It allows us to take the lead, actually. We had some pretty mediocre races to kick off the GP, but now we've got 3DS Neo Bowser City. We are 4 for 4 on track picks right now, and we're hoping that the drift and mini turbo stats will come in clutch for the windy S-bends that we're approaching right now. Lucio is holding down the fort in top spot, I'm 2nd, and I think Ryumi is in 3rd, looking at the minimap. Very favourable track for us, yeah. It is a bit nerve-wracking, the S-bends. That's supposed to be the part where we're strong on. But, of course, the Wario Bikes, they can throw their weight around, and sure enough, Police blasts his way into first. I try to sort of snipe a tight line to kill him, but that didn't quite work out. We've got reds. Lucio and I both have reds, actually, but Police somehow manages to crack it. He cracks mine on thin air, which gives him the protection to crack Lucio's. I think he might have had triples, but I could be wrong. Ryumi's up. Ryumi's got some reinforcements. I get slow-owned. I probably should have been a bit more careful there, but it's fine. We're still really strong. 1, 3, 4, and BB is right behind us. Police is pretty much going one-man army at the minute. The Wario Bikes are struggling a lot on this track. I see Lucio take the cut, so I back green with no risk, and I peg Police. That was perfect. Exactly the play we wanted to make, and now we've got a pretty solid lock on top 4. And BB and I both have shrooms, but they get powered out of us, so... But it's fine, Quacker's got a good drift stat, so it can recover very, very well. We were at no risk. We've got top 2, 3, 4, and look at that, I pull the blue! So we pretty much have top 4 on lock at the minute, and I missed the trick, and I throw the blue just for shits and gigs, because like, nothing's gonna happen. So we got the top 4. Incredible race for us. Very well done. We dapped it up on call. We were like celebrating like crazy. But it was so good. So we've got a pretty comfortable 30-point lead on the Wario Bikes. That is about to change because the Wario Bikes finally got their track pick, and of course they're picking Rainbow Road. They've got the weight advantage and they want us to know it. So I have to think fast and triple kill. I didn't actually kill Gabe, but on my screen it registered, so it definitely made for a pretty satisfying clip. Unfortunately, I get redded immediately after. I get sent from first straight to last, but that's fine. We take what we can get, and it's only lap 1. Rainbow Road isn't as strong of a running track in Limitless because the Lucio cut exists, so right about here, you can just dive off the map, and if you're fast enough, you can make it to the other side. In vanilla, you would be counted out of bounds. Oh, pardon me, sorry. So yeah, we're not in a good spot placement-wise, but at this moment, we're actually in an excellent position for strategy. I think Lucio has a star, BB has a mega, I have the bullet, and Ryumi has the shock. So we're actually primed and we're actually prim and proper to take a really good advantage here. We made the sort of executive decision to target shot Gabe because we thought that Gabe would maybe go for the Lucio cut shroomless because that's really, really easy on Wario Bike. Unfortunately, we were running out of time and a split-second decision actually caused the shock to be called before we had time to react, so none of us could use our dodges, which is super unfortunate. I think we might have sort of... wasn't exactly the game plan we hoped for. I believe we didn't dodge any of them, so it wasn't the worst play in the world, but I think it could have been so much better, and I don't even know what happened there. Next thing I know, I was just off the track. So we're sort of just fighting to knock it last. I think I saw Ryumi just get slaughtered on the minimap there. We're not doing very good. BB is sort of barely holding down third, but he's definitely fighting for it. And we've got the guy in last to worry about, Caleb. This is his first vehicle war, so he was a bit of a wild card in our eyes. We don't know what his game plan is. So we had to be on the lookout for him. Especially because they're 1, 2, 3 right now, and they've got all the power in the world because Shock could be in play. And sure enough, I go for the Lucio cut, and yeah, target shocked in 7th. You don't want to see that. Lucio got a pretty good dodge, but he did gain a spot on the opposing team, but other than Teals, I think it was, the only people he actually overtook were members of our team, which is... he could have got a bit more mileage out of that, but there was nothing he really could have done. I took last, but my teammates got 4, 5, 6, so... I'm just going to reach down for a charger here. We actually didn't do the worst, all things considered. We honestly expected Rainbow Road to go so much worse. Just let me plug this in. There we go. Now hopefully my laptop shouldn't die while I'm recording this, now that we've got the battery pack in. DK Jungle Parkway, they got their one and done track pick, and we're back to the Quacker's domain. This track, again, I don't know if you saw it, I couldn't commentate on it because I was trying to keep my laptop alive, but yeah, Lucio has picked the random option again, so he's on the cheap charger. So, since this was a repeat offense, we decided to induct a penalty on our team. Lucio gets no points for this race, so that worked out to a -5 penalty, I believe, since he just takes last by default because gentleman's agreement. We're actually in really good spots. Police was sort of BB's main threat, but I think BB disposed of him very well there, so we currently have top 3 right now, albeit one of them is Lucio, who has to take last because of our little agreement. So yeah, Lucio slows down. He's got triple bananas. His game plan is to just go down swinging and take the Wario bikes with him. BB and I are top 2. And BB actually has a little idea. He wants to know if the Quacker has enough mini turbo to brute force the off-road, and I believe he wasn't that successful. It might be doable. I haven't labbed it. With Toadette, it's probably your safest option, but he's on me, so it's fine. He's still first. We still have a pretty comfortable safety net. Wario bikes are 4, 5, 6, 8. We suspected at this point that Teals had the shock, but we saw him rapidly speed up on the minimap, so we thought, never mind, shock's not in play. I went to trap the cut with a back bomb. Unfortunately, Police had a mega, so that just did not affect him. But BB is on an absolute tear with these backs. He crippled Police, but I think Police chained mushrooms, so it didn't really matter too much. And I miss a crucial mini turbo here, so I'm unable to do much. Then again, Police had a shroom left over, so he took first place anyways. And BB got bumped into the wall, so he actually takes third, but he didn't lose any spots because obviously we're on the same team. We got 2, 3, 4, 8, which I believe is a slight winning race for them. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check in the edit. I'll have to double check in the editing of this video. But yeah, our lead is somewhat dented by that Rainbow Road pick. Like, we were up a substantial amount going into GP2. We're up by less now. Actually, no. DK Jungle Parkway has to have been a winning race for us, right? Because, yeah, Rainbow Road crippled our lead by a significant amount. We're back to the Wario Bike territory now. We've got Wario's Gold Mine, their home track. I murder Police there, because believe me, we're going to have to murder the Wario Bikes as much as we can. I tried to snipe Gabe, but I have no clue where he was, so it wasn't very effective. Ryumi unfortunately got redded there, and I just get ravaged by, I believe it was Teals. I couldn't tell who. Yeah, it might have been Teals. I can't remember who it was. I thought it was Teals in the recording, that's why I said his name. And the Wario Bikes are, as it turns out, they happen to be top 4 right now, which is not a particularly good position for us to be in, but this is one of those tracks where you don't really want to be top 4 too early because the shock, it's nerfed in Limitless because I believe the respawn is much better, but yeah, you still run the risk of getting target shocked and then the entire enemy team pulls dodges and then your top 4 just kind of goes to shit. We're sort of just scrambling for dodges at the minute. You see me hitting walls to try and slow myself down. Ryumi's not having much luck either on that front. I pull a dodge, I pull a star, and we think BB's just sort of trying to pull shock at this point. I think he pulls it round about here. I'm just trying not to die at the minute. Lucio, I think, activates his dodge, I activate mine, but Lucio got bumped off right as he activated his bill. Super unfortunate. I think you might have seen it on the minimap there, like the bullet bill was sort of teleporting. Very, very unfortunate. And I enter first and I immediately get blued. Super unfortunate. And then Ryumi gets mega'd right as I throw away my green, so I end up accidentally team killing as well. Oh, super unfortunate. We had all of the cards in our hands, but the deck of cards just got... The house of cards got blown over by the big bad wolf right at the end, so... I got third, but my teammates got bottom three. Super unfortunate right at the last minute, but... If there was one track where Wario Bike would bring it back, Wario's Gold Mine would no doubt be that track. At this point, we decide not to pick good tracks for us, but rather bad tracks for Wario Bike. Wario Bike's turning capacity is pretty mediocre. Its drift isn't that great, its handling is only decent, so we think, oh, DS Airship Fortress is a track with a big spiral, so we would be able to gain a ton of ground on this track if things go in our favour. Ryumi murdering the world with triple greens. And yeah, you can see we're gaining so much time on Gabe there. Gabe, probably, maybe not entirely due to vehicle choice, he's a Wario Bike expert, so he probably knows the lines and the strategies, but Ryumi, I think, yeah, that was Ryumi, he was just gaining on, like, Gabe, and I think I overtook him as well. So yeah, BB and myself and Police, we're top 3 at the minute, looking pretty favourable, and Ryumi, not Ryumi, Lucio's killing people. I get blued, and I was a little bit late to call, so I think someone else got caught in the explosion as well. So yeah, now Gabe's clawed his way back into second. Things are looking not the best, but then we remember, oh wait a minute, we've just got the spiral, we've got this under control. I throw a greenback tie, and I peg Gabe right in the front tire. That was really good stuff. I go for this little maneuver to like get my mini turbo, and I drift the wrong way, so that not exactly my proudest moment right there. I just fumbled what was a pretty solid top 2 lead. So now Lucio is just fighting desperately to pick up the pieces. Ryumi has the fucking breakaway of the century, and Police swerves with triple greens. Maybe to kill me, maybe to dodge the fire pillar, but yeah, that threw me off so much. And Gabe has triple reds immediately ahead of him. I brake drift so hard, but I think on my screen on his screen I had already overtaken him, so his red just locks on regardless. I pull a lucky golden though, so that brings me up to 4th. And we managed to secure the top 2 against all odds, so pretty good race to end the GP on, considering that the GP was pretty rough for us, all things considered, but we did that major dent caused by the combination of Wario's Gold Mine and Rainbow Road. We did make that up somewhat on the Airship Fortress race. That Airship Fortress race was huge. We got top 2 and then 4 as well. So the only real winning music they got was Gabe getting 3rd. Banshee Boardwalk, incredible spear track, and since the Wario Bike is similar statistically to the Spear, naturally, this would be quite good stomping grounds for the Wario Bike, and I don't think it's a very favourable track for vehicles with high mini turbo stats. They can make it work, but if my inside drift kart experience in Retro Rewind is speaking, if it's of any dictatorship, then yeah, we don't have the best odds here. They're holding up surprisingly well though, like the Wario Bikes are actually bottom 3 at the minute. Caleb throws a bomb, I'm just about able to dodge it there. Yeah, I drive into a wall to avoid Police's bill, so I kind of just want to burn my star. Police is getting the heck out of dodge, he's like, nah, I don't want to get starred. The recording is starting to jump again, so... But yeah, narrowly avoided that bullet though, and as you can see I keep chaining stars, the most unfortunate moment to do so because we're actually not doing too bad at the minute, so we have no real shot of pulling shock. So I pull a golden, and BB's in last, so now the shock could potentially enter play and be beneficial for us. I'm taking the most Mickey Mouse lines here, but yeah, not looking particularly good. Gabe's in 1st, Lucio and Ryumi are in 2nd, but then BB and I are bottom 2. Well, as soon as I say that, I overtake Police, but Police has the star power, so I have to sort of mash my mushrooms and get out of there. before the Wario Bike speed diffs us. And I chain into a golden, which is very fortunate. We're now 2-3-4, which is a really good spot for us to be in. I decide to use my golden... Yeah, I believe I use it here. Pow is pretty unfortunate, but I chain into a red shell. I overtake Caleb because I see that... No, I don't overtake Caleb. I overtake Police because I knew I could. Unfortunately, Ryumi actually went for cut and failed, so he actually he intercepted the red shell's mark. So it's actually the second time I've team killed Ryumi there, but I had a Mega, we had Shock, so we called it, and I was able to pretty much secure second. And I think Ryumi gets a good spot here as well. He gets fourth, so despite the minor red shell mishap, he wasn't terribly well off. I think if he got redded a bit sooner, it would have been lights out, I think, because I think he landed just after the gap. But yeah, not a good race for us, but we didn't really expect it to be. It's pretty heavily favoured track for Spear and by extension Wario Bike too, just because they're very similar in terms of stats. Now, Poisonous Pass. Our first CT, as a matter of fact. Up until this point, we've all been playing Nintendo tracks or retros. So, yeah, the first actual CT we're playing this event. Police pulls triple reds in, I think, third, which isn't a good sign, and I get a bit too trigger happy with fast falling, so I fumble a bit here. So that pretty much renders me to shock duty, which is a duty that I'm not entirely good with, but I do my best. I sort of cross my fingers hoping it's not a 30-second shock, and it's a golden, so I sort of burn my golden, take a cut, I fumble the cut. The jump in the recording didn't really show it, but yeah, I did actually get a weird bounce and fumble it there. And sure enough, I pull shock. So we pull a very early shock, but that's fine. BB and Ryumi are actually top 2, and Lucio is breaking out as 3 right now, so we've actually got top 3. We're in a very favourable position right now, and because the Quacker's got such a good mini turbo stat, I can kind of weave through the pack holding shock, and they can just not suspect a thing. Because they're like, oh, Ross is in like 6th, surely he doesn't have shock, right? We agree to use the shock once Ryumi and Lucio are out of the poison mushroom zone. And Lucio had a dodge, so that works out extremely well. Unfortunately, Police also had a dodge, and he used it on the slow ramp, so he actually got the off-road glitch, so he's able to take the cut despite not being able to chain because he's in a bill. So Police actually had a pretty solid breakaway. Despite this, I would argue it was still a pretty good play for us because we're 2-3-4-5 at the minute. Even though Police is like, fuck, he's a light year ahead at this point, but we're perfectly content to just hold down 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and potentially 5th as well. Now, you can't see it on my perspective as well. My perspective doesn't do it justice, but I'll show Ryumi's perspective there. He does a Hail Mary bomb throw, hits Police, and then the shock lets Lucio combo Police, so we actually stole his first place. Actually, like, if you were on call, Ryumi was popping the hell off. I might, I don't know, I might ask him to see if I can replay his clip at the end with his audio, because, that was a sight to behold. God damn, it was, we can't believe it worked. We only gained 2 points from it, but every point counts, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're making plays like that, like, you kind of deserve the points at that moment, you know? So yeah, Thump Bump Forest, we're finally getting some CT action. The last track pick was, in fact, not a fluke. And I pull triple greens out, my Police kind of forces my hand, he throws a red at me. The recording, again, it jumps at the most inopportune moments, but I did kill some people with triple greens. Police tries to green me, doesn't work, but I'm able to retaliate with a banana, so we've got 2, 3, 4. Teals is running. We're in pretty favorable spots, and Ryumi is actually able to overtake Teal there, and Teal's hit some ground bananas. I sort of hit them as well, but it's fine. You take what you can get. BB plays it safe. I take the cut, so we're in top 2 now. Pretty... I want to say it's a comfortable top 2 because we can use mini turbos quite a lot there, but I think the Wario Bikes can sort of put in some work here. And yeah, sure enough, I pull a fib, Teals pulls a red, nothing much I can do here. And this is strange, Ryumi comes to a stop because we were sort of talking so much on the call that he thought there was a blue. So he slowed down to like not be in first when the blue was like in play, so yeah. Per miscommunication kills, and now we're in a bit of a weird spot because they're top 3. Which is a bit of a yikes. BB is sort of standing his ground, he's fighting for it, but obviously when you're on the lightest vehicle in the game versus one of the heaviest vehicles in the game, fighting your ground is a little bit tough. So yeah, I pull a golden here. Very good spot to take the cut. Unfortunately, I don't get the trick, so I'm just off the track, fumbling what would have been a very favourable spot. And Lucio, I don't know what's up with Lucio, he's like miles behind. I think at this point Lucio is just like fishing for shock, but he doesn't seem to be having too much luck. I get the sickest shroom bounce there, that was pretty cool. So yeah, Ryumi is making it back. BB and I are sort of losing the war of attrition against the Wario Bikes. We've got some catching up to do. I pull triples, so I just sort of use a shroom here and use a shroom there, and I don't gain too much ground, but I'm a bit closer to Teals now. And there's a POW. Actually, I think Ryumi wasn't too pleased with that POW because he wanted to target POW the Wario Bikes when taking the cut, but it worked out fine, because I think it's not like we got screwed, as it were. And I don't know if you see on the minimap, police hits a wall, so Ryumi actually does end up winning against all of the odds. So Ryumi gets first, sort of carrying the team that race. BB and I get 5th and 6th, and Lucio just was not able to pull shock all race. Extremely unfortunate, so we end up getting 5, 6, 7. But it wasn't a particularly losing race for us, so we're not bummed about that result. But Siberian Chateau, we are up by 17 at this point, and getting top 4 in Limitless is a 22-point difference, so yeah, we're in a pretty good position point-wise, but all it takes is one bad race and it could come crumbling down, and Siberian Chateau could very well be that one race. We just sort of have to put in a lot of work here to maintain that lead. It would be most unfortunate if we were to fumble a good lead this late in the game. Against the Wario Bike 2, which is actually the number 1, I'm fighting to stay alive there, the number 1 seed in this war, if you remember, and the Quacker was the wildcard pick. Ryumi throws his triple reds there to kill the world. I think he does succeed. Shock makes things a bit more awkward, but Ryumi gets his way into 2nd, I'm in 4th, so we're doing not terribly. We're aiming to have a not terrible race at this point. We don't really want to have a good race, we just want to have a race that's okay enough to keep our lead secured. And the Wario Bikes, they're really playing aggro. I get distracted and I hit the thwomp, so I lose 2nd, but it's fine. The blue shell is coming. I try to kill Teals, but it cracks and I didn't want to kill Gabe, but it's fine that it did. You kind of have to play dirty in wars, even though I don't really want to. And I get bumped by police there. It actually kind of helped me, because it allowed me to get the mini turbo out a little bit later, which allows me to ride out that straight away at not 78 kmh, which is pretty good. And I back a green here because Ryumi and I are top 2, and sure enough, I think I peg one of the Wario Bike players. So yeah, we've got a very favourable situation, as a matter of fact. We are top 2, and Lucio isn't far behind. BB is, but he's on shock duty, so that's fine. I think he actually does have shock, which is part of the reason why he's so far behind. Like, he actually made it a point in call how he had to use the shock soon because it was super obvious that we had it. And they are in top... No, they're not in top 4. I thought they were in top 4 at this point in the call as well, but one of our kind was up there, unbeknownst to me. And Lucio the Legend actually manages to dodge, so if things go right, Lucio can secure a top spot, and that would be enough for us to take the lead and keep it. And yeah, Lucio's still in first. Ryumi is prized to get a very good spot. Lucio loses one, super unfortunate. I think someone overtook him at the last second with the little shortcut. But he still gets second, Ryumi gets third, and BB manages to get sixth, despite all of his shock hoarding. Very good race for us, and we ended up keeping the lead by a pretty substantial amount. So yeah, we ended up winning against Team Wario Bike. Very, very good war for us. Not the best plays made throughout, but you know, we came out on top in the end, and to beat a vehicle as strong as Wario Bike with the wild card known as Quacker, pretty funny achievement, and it'll be very interesting to see what shenanigans Wario Bike can get up to in the losers bracket. Will it go on a tear or will it flunk? Who knows? And Quacker is... I think Quacker's pretty much safe from round 1 elimination now, so it'll be curious to see if Quacker can go all the way. That would be a sight to behold. A pretty good play for us, because we're 2, 3, 4, 5 at the minute. Even though Police is like... Fuck, he's a light...
Oh, I got him! Where? Oh! No way! Oh!